Hello Persona friend, my name is Ega and you're listening to Persona Talk, where I will share my thoughts, views, and insights. In this episode, I want to talk about Wang Yibo's race on October the 7th. I'm still a little bit upset and frustrated remembering how it ended, but I want to really just talk about it. Well, during the practice, Wang Yibo did so well. He's so wonderful. He kept beating his record from last year, then with his record from his earlier practice, and he even got better in his qualifier race. He's really giving it all for the race, and everything seems so smooth, and I believe he could get a good result. So the race began, and unfortunately, I was having trouble with the live streaming. It kept buffering, and it's literally buffering every other second. But I wanted to watch it so bad that I continue refreshing the page over and over. And then a friend also kept me updated with the race, so it's easier to know the lap is in. I was so excited when the race was almost finished, and somehow that time the video was fine for me. Actually, I didn't really need Yibo to be the first to cross the finish line. I don't really need Yibo to be the winner. I already knew he's good and he even beat his record again. He has a good future in front of him, and I just wanted to see him cross the finish line and see his smile. But suddenly, that unfortunate accident happened. Anyway, if you are a fan of Wang Yibo or China MotoGP event, you probably knew what happened. But long story short, it's actually happened in a blink of an eye, so it's not long at all. Okay, so the story is another racer crashed into Wang Yibo and they both fell. And because of that, Yibo couldn't finish the race or even his last lap. You see, the thing is, when I watched the other racer wanted to take a lead in that corner, I already had a bad feeling. I knew he wouldn't make it, and then I was right and the racer fell. At that second, I still prayed he'd be alright. Then I still believed and said to myself that it wouldn't affect Yibo at all, that Yibo would be alright, he would continue the race. But the next second I saw how that racer crashed into Yibo's bike, and at that moment my heart just dropped. I couldn't think of anything else. Motorcycle, racing, and accident. Those three, when combined, will turn into a nightmare, and I just couldn't help myself but fear for the worst. Blame my mind that overthink and processing so fast, but I already thought about the worst before I knew it. And I watched Yibo rolled over again, not stopping until a few meters ahead. It felt like I watched it in slow motion and he just couldn't stop rolling. I couldn't take my eyes off and I was just glad he's still conscious and could stand up again. At that time, I was so relieved that I cried. Then I watched how he walked to his bike and tried to restart it, but he did not succeed. I cried harder thinking the race was over for him, thinking how life is not fair for him, not fair to him, and the worst is the video suddenly stopped again. It's buffering and I didn't know what to do for a while. I knew that Yibo was mad. He is so upset and feeling bad for his team, and I just couldn't find the courage to watch the race anymore. I didn't want to cry harder than I already was. What happened to him just broke my heart and I purely wanted to cheer him up. But I also realized I couldn't do anything. I felt helpless and I just wished someone could hurry and hug that guy. But after the race ended, I knew about the fall. It basically is the other racer's fault. Intentional or not, I don't even want to go into that. But that racer was at fault, and he should at least apologize. But he didn't, he doesn't. I still believe in justice, in fairness, but this accident reminds me that life is life. Everything could happen, miracle could happen, injustice could happen, and disaster could happen. I know it's just a part of life. Maybe it's even fated and meant to happen. But I just can't stop thinking the world could be better. The world could be fairer. This incident is just too regrettable, but I'm still proud of Yibo. He did so well, and I believe he will stand tall again and reach a greater height. He will do better and better. This won't break him down because he is that strong. I believe he'll get over this soon enough. So, also I feel bad about it, and I feel hopeless about the whole situation. I still want to believe there is a light shining in the darkness, and that light will only get brighter and brighter. And during this whole thing, I was angry, sad, worried, anxious, and even frustrated. I shed a lot of tears, both sad and frustrated tears. But I also learned to get through it with friends and not let the hatred take control. I didn't fan the hatred to the world. And by the end of the day, I realized that I was just so exhausted. I didn't want to talk about the racer nor the accident anymore. I just want to focus my full attention to Yibo and wait for his smile again. It's really not good to waste my time, attention, and energy feeding that anger. I even forget the name of that racer because it's just not worth it. What matters to me is Yibo is fine. Well, in the end of this episode, I just want to say that even during terrible times, we can actually still find the right thing to do, not controlled by our emotion. And sharing this moment with friends is a wonderful experience. Having a like-minded friends is really something to be grateful of. Okay, that's all for this episode. Thank you for listening. Let's share love, happiness, and positivity.